41 and mostly sunny in East Rutherford, New Jersey on Sunday.
Terrible towels will be in effect.
All right. It's 4:00 games. We have a few of them. How many do we have? 1, 2.
Yeah, there's only one that matters.
3, 4.
Unfortunately.
There is really only one that matters. This one is not one that matters. The Detroit Lions, 3-10-1. The Denver Broncos are at 5-9. Broncos are 25th. The Lions are 28th in the power rankings. The Broncos favored by 6.5 points. Neither team should want to win, but with a vote of confidence for the rocket scientist from the team owner, he can afford to keep losing. And Drew Lock wants to show people Elway can make a good decision at quarterback. Broncos win. You disagree?
Yeah, I have nothing to say on this game. Picking the Broncos as well.
You changed your pick. You picked the Lions on the sheet.
Oh, that was a mistake. That should have been the Broncos. I'm sorry. I buried the Lions on my power rankings because there's nothing left for them to do other than just tank the rest of the season. Look, if Stafford's
I wanted to
still
put them
talking
at 32, but I couldn't legitimately put them below Cincinnati.
No, you can't. You can't put anyone below Cincinnati right now. Even if Cincinnati wins the game against Miami, I'm going to still leave them at 32.
Monty put Washington below Cincinnati.
Monty's probably still bitter from what happened this past Sunday.
Very well could be.
There's no good rhyme or reason to put Washington at 32. They actually have talent. Jawan James, offensive tackle, Ron Leary, the guard, along with defensive ends Adam Gotsis, Draymond Jones, and DeMarcus Walker for the Broncos, all listed as questionable. For the Lions, running back Bo Scarborough, linebacker Christian Jones, Ashawn Robinson, defensive tackle, Devin Kennard, linebacker, and J.D. McKissick, running back, all listed as questionable as well.
Josh starts his preview with, not that anyone cares. I have a bad feeling the Lions could play well enough to win and bump us out of a top 5 pick. That would be bad, okay? Tank time. On offense, it's likely to be a field goal festival. This is where Matt Prater made a name for himself on more than one occasion. Also, Blau isn't good. Tank time. Carry on may be back. We can't run, but I kind of want him to stay on the shelf. There's really no point to installing new wrinkles, save the new ideas for next year. I need Kerryon Johnson to come back because I have a serious problem at running back in the Survivor League that I'm in, the not safe for work Survivor League, where I am in the championship game. I have a running back problem, and Kerryon Johnson might be my only hope.
Then you definitely have a running back problem. You might need to find somebody else.
Not that anyone cares, but Stafford was on pace to throw for another 5,000-yard season before he was injured. It's a sad sack season. If I could, I'd fast forward to the draft. On defense, we still can't rush the passer as we allowed a dude with a broken thumb to throw for 450 plus. What in the actual Lions? Drew Lock will probably go for 330. And we now have 24 guys on IR. Stafford would be 25. That's the most I can remember in a long time. #good times. The team just gets worse with every game. I just want to see some sort of progress from Tavai and Jared Davis. Davis has been a disappointment thus far. Maybe we just need a defensive coordinator that knows how to use him. Again, not that anyone cares. Let's tank. Detroit 15, Denver 24.
So if I hear that correctly, Josh is saying that the two biggest things is not that anyone cares and let's tank.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. And I mean, quite honestly, I loved Matt Patricia when he was here. It does appear that he might be a little bit out of his element with Detroit. The team just has not shown any improvement from when he took over the team. He's been there for 2 seasons. The Lions have done nothing but stayed bad.
I mean, every time you put hope in them.
It's a shame. It really is a shame.
Sound like that team I'm always bashing in the AFC West.
Oh, you mean not the Oakland Raiders? They're 6-8. You mean
not them.
The Los Angeles Chargers, who are 5-9 and hosting?
They still have a team?
The Raiders are 19th. The Chargers are 21st. Unfortunately, the Chargers with home field advantage. That would be a tie with the Raiders. Thus, the Raiders, since they were originally ranked lower, will retain the power ranking pick, even though the Chargers are favored by 5.5 points in this one. I don't get it. How many fans from the black hole make the trip to the soccer stadium, James?
All of them.
Raiders punch
the black hole to the soccer stadium.
Raiders punched the Chargers in the mouth back in November. I say they do it again, and they would just be one game away from 500.
Absolutely. You said the Raiders are going to go 8-8. Win these last two, they'll do it. And considering none of these last two games are against the Chiefs, sure, they're going 8-8. We're calling it right now. Probably should have won last week, but whatever. That's what 8-8 teams do. They lose games, they should win. Yep. I have nothing good to say about the Chargers in any way, shape, or form other than Russell Okung is on the injury report. There. As far as the
Keenan Allen's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. For the Raiders, they have Daryl Worley, Hunter Renfrow, Trent Brown, Josh Jacobs, and Richie Incognito, the neighborhood bully, on the injury report. Gruden saying that Jacobs has been dealing with a shoulder injury since week 7. Has had a hard time taking off his shoulder pad after Sunday's game, so keep an eye on that. Jacobs, by the way, my vote for Rookie of the Year.
Oh. You would take Jacobs over Kyler Murray?
Yes.
Interesting.
Absolutely. I think, let's put it this way. When it comes to rookies, quarterbacks get too much benefit of the doubt. First of all, as far as NFL player awards in general that don't specify position, quarterbacks get too much consideration.
True.
For no good reason other than their quarterbacks. And it kind of devalues almost every other position on the field from looking at them objectively to acknowledge how well these guys are playing. Kyler Murray, yes, is a rookie, and is doing as well as a rookie could be doing in what the hell ever is going on in Arizona, but he is not Rookie of the Year. I'm sorry. It's Josh Jacobs. Just like last year, it was Saquon Barkley and not Baker Mayfield, as much as I told everybody it was going to be that way, and it ended up being that way. There was no reason to make a case for Baker Mayfield to be Rookie of the Year last season.
We are not the only ones that believes the black hole will make an appearance in Los Angeles. Monty writes in, last home game of the season.
Nice one.
I am hoping that the West Coast Raider Nation gets really comfortable in LA going forward. I grew up with NWA rocking LA Raiders gear, and I may or may not have had a starter jacket back in the day. Rivers is done, time to retire, but the Raiders are on a 4-game losing streak and doing more tweeting about the Pro Bowl than sit-ups. This game will be ugly and tough to watch for everyone involved. Still, I hate Phillip Rivers and his shot put delivery. If this is his last Raiders game, perhaps Mad Max can light him up for the old timers like me. Pull out all the stops, Chucky. Raiders 24, Bolts 20. I don't remember if I brought this up on this podcast. It doesn't sound like something I did. It might have been something that my son and I were sort of joking around about, playing Madden franchise mode. How funny would it be if Phillip Rivers does decide to retire, Drew Brees doesn't renew in New Orleans and ends up back with the Chargers?
No, stop the madness. Stop it.
That would be pretty funny.
Oh, my gosh. Only in Madden can that happen.
Seriously, only in Madden can that happen. And I'm pretty sure my son and I made it happen. So there you go.
Oh, gosh.
Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles. This is pretty much the only game that matters here in the 4:00 slot. They are both 7-7. The Cowboys 12, the Eagles 13. However, sorry, James, due to our power rankings, home field advantage rule, the Eagles will be the power ranking pick.
Wait, why power rankings? Why?
Because they have home field advantage. They knocked 2 points off of their ranking, which actually makes them 11, not 13. And 11, this just in.
Super fans,
less than
what are you
12.
guys doing?
Cowboys are favored by 2.5 in this game. Cowboys will clinch the NFC East division with a road win over the Eagles, which I didn't realize that was going to be the case. I thought perhaps there'd still be a chance if they ended up tied, but that's too bad. Winning a division has proven significant this decade, as the last team to advance to the Super Bowl without winning a division title was the 2010 Green Bay Packers, who won Super Bowl XLV. Since all 16 teams to appear in the Super Bowl have won their divisions, for me, this is an eyeball test game, and my eyeballs say the Cowboys are the better team at this point. So despite the power ranking pick rule, I am going with the Cowboys.
Yeah, ditto. Not much to say about this. Congratulations, Kevin. NFC East champions. Yay. Let's get to the injuries because I don't want to talk about this. For Dallas, he has a finger injury, so he's listed as questionable. Leighton Vander Esch is doubtful with his neck. C.J. Goodwin had thumb surgery on Monday. For the Eagles, Kamal Grugier-Hill was put on injured reserve today. Running back Jordan Howard, tackle Lane Johnson, defensive end Derek Barnett, and wide receiver Nelson Aguilar, all listed as questionable.
Jordan Howard, by the way, the reason why I have a running back problem in that fantasy league. Stupid Jordan Howard.
Why are you getting mad at me? The guy has a shoulder injury. What do you want me to do?
I'm angry at Jordan Howard. I'm also angry at
shoulder
Cooper,
injury.
I'm also angry at Cooper Kupp and at Delvin Cook and at Brashad Perriman. Angry at all those players for all different reasons in different leagues.
Oh, gosh. Last name on the Eagles injury report is cornerback Ronald Darby, who is nursing, quote, a lower body issue, whatever the hell that means. I think it translates into, I can't run with speedy wide receivers, so I don't want to get smoked by Amari Cooper on Sunday.
Could also be a groin.
Whatever. Outside of McLeod and Jenkins, let me rephrase that. Darby and Mills are trash. The scheme for how they play receivers is garbage. I kind of don't want Jim Schwartz coming back as defensive coordinator. I really want Darby and Mills gone in the offseason and find some competent cornerbacks who can at least, I don't know, act like receivers don't have the plague and put their hands on them, reroute them, move them around a little bit, make them work to get open instead of just letting them run free and trying to tackle them, which mostly half-ass attempts because you're diving at their legs when you're standing face-to-face with them. I don't understand. As long as the offense sticks with the running game, this game should be close, but whatever. That'll probably go out the window early. Peterson and, whatever, Wentz, if he continues fumbling the ball, we're not going to have a chance. So there, Dallas will most likely win. Next.
Partly cloudy and 44 in Philadelphia. So the weather.
It's not
weather not a factor in this one. I've forgotten to go over the weather of these last few games, but oh my gosh, wow! Weather in Denver won't be a factor. 60 degrees in Denver. That's downright balmy for this time of year. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm not going to bother looking up Los Angeles weather. I mean, we know it's 76.
It never rains in Southern California.
Yeah, 76 and partly cloudy. Arizona Cardinals 4-9-1. At the Seattle Seahawks, 11-3. The Seahawks are now the second place team in our power rankings. The Cardinals, 26th. The Seahawks favored by 9.5. If not for Lamar Jackson, is the MVP of the league Danger Russ or Drew Brees?
I'm gonna go with Russ. And I've got some other knocks on Drew Brees, only because he missed 5 games this year. And I get it. You can probably extrapolate what he's done thus far in the season and pencil it in for those 5 games if he had played, but if doesn't count unless it's in horseshoes. Russ is basically – you know what? And, yeah, for what Russ is doing in the passing game, because he hasn't been running the ball much, and they actually have a running game. Chris Carson is over 1,000 yards, which is the first time that's happened since Marshawn Lynch was there by any running back wearing the Seahawks uniform. So, yeah, I mean, there's really no – I mean, gosh, I can't really make a case for anybody else winning MVP outside of those two right now. I know at one point in the season, probably the beginning of November, we were going to say a 3-man race between Jackson, Russ, and Watson in Houston, but the Texans fell off a cliff after beating your Patriots. So it's a 2-man race right now. And let's put it this way. If by some miracle it's not Lamar Jackson, because at this point it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to win league MVP. There's almost nothing that can happen short of him getting hurt